Hello and welcome to the Fundamentals of Lute Playing. My name is Laudon Schuett, and today we're going to be talking about your third piece. Now, I'm not expecting you guys to strictly stick with these pieces. I'm imagining that you're all playing multiple pieces and maybe you're doing some pieces in between, but I did want to provide a sort of incrementally difficult series of pieces for you guys to work on and to have, especially those of you who don't have teachers and don't have guidance for how to sort of grow as players. This piece will be the first one that incorporates more than one voice. So it has a soprano voice and it has a bass voice. Up until this point, we've worked primarily with trebles, other than in some little exercises and things like that. And we will be adding more trebles down the road that are more challenging and more difficult for more advanced players. I think it's important to understand that trebles can be very, very advanced. They're not necessarily all easy pieces, but they are a good place to start. So the little piece that I'm going to have you guys work on for your first two-voice piece is from a Pierre Athéon book. And I'm not going to say much about it because actually I think one of your assignments is going to be to go look up as much as you can about it, to look up the title, look up maybe some things about Athéon. Was he the composer? Was he a publisher? What was going on there? But kind of send you out to do a little bit of early music sleuthing. Now, I am providing the score in both French intabulation and Italian intabulation. I've decided in this case, I think I'm going to put them both in the same file so that I don't have two separate links. So if you are someone who's working on your Italian tablature, don't freak out if you open the file and you see French right at the top. Just scroll down and I hopefully will have that. It may be two separate files. We'll see what I end up doing. But I think I'd like to just have a single one. That way we cut down on links in the description. Things to tell you about, or things that I should mention with this piece, I will provide a standard notation transcription for this one. And I will also provide a sort of split version of the piece. The idea being that I'm going to have the voices separated so you can practice the voices. I think it's really obvious, and I think for more advanced musicians, they're going to be able to go, oh, yeah, that's the soprano voice and that's the bass voice. But for those of you who are absolute beginners, one of the steps that I really like to take when I'm first learning a piece of music. And I am going to do a video, I think will be next week's video, on the steps or possible steps to learn a piece of music. One of those is to separate the voices and practice them separately and then bring them together. And we'll talk about that a little more in next week's video. But I'm actually going to write that out for this first one so that everyone can just practice those things separately. This piece has a very sort of loose, intermittent bass line, so it may be of more value to focus on learning just the melody as if it were a treble, and then integrating this sort of simple and loose bass line. It's mostly open strings in the bass with a couple of moments where you will put down a finger with your left hand. I'm going to provide, I haven't put them in the score yet, I'm going to provide some fingerings to guide people. But again, for more advanced players, you can definitely play around with the fingerings. I think with different sized hands and different capabilities, you can do different things to make this piece come out. So your assignment with this is to take this piece, and the first thing I would do is I would go Google the name of it and maybe Google a bit about Pierre Athéon and maybe a little bit about the period and the time that this music was in. This is around 1530, or I think it's exactly 1530. Yeah, I think it was published in 1530, so the music was probably from a little bit before. But immerse yourself a little bit. This is something we're going to talk about in the next episode as well. Go listen to some music around the same time. Some of you may hear the name Pierre Athéon and you know immediately, oh, it's French. It's French. I think it's French. So go confirm that and then maybe look at some French music from around this period and listen to it and start to sort of get it into your ear. And I think you'll very quickly run into things like brawls, which are types of dances and stuff like that. And you'll have to learn a little bit more about that. And I think that's a great part of the exploration. One thing that you all will notice is that while I do put performance videos up, I tend to avoid putting up performance videos of these assignments. And the reason I don't want to necessarily put up a performance video, unless somebody requests, I'm happy to do that. But I really don't want you to get stuck with my interpretation of the piece. I think it's really lovely when people come up with their own. And I think we're at different ability levels. So if I were to play this piece, and I were to play it scorching fast, and some poor beginner were to hear that and they go, "Oh, I could never play that piece. It's just too hard." But what they don't understand is that you probably could do a very lovely job at a slower tempo, and I don't want to discourage playing at lower tempos, especially for beginners. I think playing slowly is a really important part of learning and growing. So I don't think I'm going to say much more than that, other than to provide this piece as your assignment. Take your time with it. If you haven't finished the trebles, continue working on the trebles. And next week I will release a video on basically how to learn a piece, and that'll be useful for you for the rest of your experience through this course. If you've enjoyed the course, or you enjoy this video, or you've enjoyed what's going on, and you would like to support the course, just remember that subscribing to my channel is the easiest way to be helpful. I've also set up a Patreon if you want to support in that way, and I have the link in the description. So just as a reminder, the link to this piece will be in the description. And I should say, my wife is a very, very strong French speaker, and I'm always a little embarrassed to speak in French around her because she'll always kind of correct me. So I was not able to find a correct pronunciation for this title. I'll have to ask my wife, and then maybe I'll post about that in a future video. But I will say that the title will be searchable on Google, and you can learn some things about this piece. I guess it's probably something like Old Berrois, or along those lines. Meredith would probably say, no, 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 you've got that pronunciation all wrong. And that's totally fine. Do your best. And enjoy playing this. Again, if you'd like to support the channel, consider subscribing. And if you'd like to support through Patreon, that will be in the description as well. So happy looting, happy practicing, and I'll see you next week for our video on how to learn a piece of music. Have a good one.